back into the doors again. And this area here, it was all full of bog. So what I've done, I've just filled it with weld. I took the bog out and then just put all weld in there to fill it up. I've cut this section out. I've just welded this in over here, and on that side I've just welded this front piece in. Now I've got to grind it, and then I might have to just touch up the welds here and there, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with how it's going. A bit more, so it's all full of metal now, not bog. Just a few little touch-ups here and there. Just got to grind them off. And basically it's almost ready now to put the skin on. So I'm just going to have to prepare the skin and then get that door skin on. This is the driver's side door that I've repaired. I'm going to paint the inside of it first before I put the skin on. That's the skin for that. So I'll just let that sit for a while. And I just cracked the skin off this one. And it's not too bad inside. It's pretty good actually. The worst thing about it, or two worst things, is this bit in here will have to be changed, which fortunately I can get that off the other door. And it's got rust right there. So I may just try and cut a little piece out and weld it rather than replacing this whole piece. I'll just clean it up first, get this bit off and see how it goes. I just put some KBS Rust Blast to treat the rust on the inside of the doors before I paint them, before I put the skins back on. And this one here, I've cut a section out of there I'm going to replace. And I've just sprayed the Rust Blast in all the little nooks and crannies. So just let that sit for a while, then I'll give it another spray, then rinse it off with water, and then I can put the doors back together. Back onto the doors again, and I probably should have done this before I started fixing them, but I put some paint stripper on it. I'm gonna strip all the paint off. I've just got the plastic over it so it doesn't dry out, and while I shoot up the shop to get some more stripper, I'll just let this sit for an hour or so. It's been sitting for about an hour, and I'm gonna give this a scrape off what comes off, and then put some more on. It's been about a month or so I thought I'd better get back into the car. Just making a few little patches. I treated the rust in there. Gonna put this on to replace that. Another little bit to go in here. I'm just making up this piece now that goes in there. Just use some old scrap metal. I'm just about to bend it and make it basically the same as that. And I also still got a little bit of rust here I've got to fix. Plugged up this bit here, and another little bit of rust there, which I'll do once I've got this bit finished. And then finally, after all that, I can put the skin back on this door. Oh, actually, no, I can't. I've got more on the other side that I'll take film of in a second. I just spent the last 20 minutes looking for this bloody thing, but this is the right one for this door. That's the piece. And it's gonna sit right there, gets welded on, and then the door skin will get attached to that. So you could probably make them up easy enough out of 2 sedan doors. But you just got to make sure you get these to line up exactly, otherwise the weather strip won't fit. Or just get onto Greg Torana and tell him that's the part we need. And then if enough people start asking him for them, he'll get onto it and start making them. So that's about it now. And I'll get back into it tomorrow and hopefully be able to put the door back together soon. Finally got all the rust fixed. And I've coated this area in KBS. A little bit of weld-proof primer around the edges. And I'm just fitting the first door skin, which is a little bit rough after I took all the bog off, but I panel beated what I can and I'm just gonna have to bog it a little bit more than I expected. Just about to line this bit up and then I'll start going around putting the whole skin on. It's one door down. Just got to clean it up a bit now, then I can paint it. And I'm just about to put the skin on this door. Again, treat it with KBS and put weld-proof primer around here where the lip's going to go. And hopefully this one fits on alright, and then I can get some paint on them. Just putting the second door skin on, and all I've done is I've just tapped it with a hammer a little bit, and then I've got pliers and a rag, and I'm just squeezing it, oops, like this, just moving along, squeezing it down. I'm not taking too much care with it because these panels are all banged up anyway. But if they were new ones, I'd probably take a bit more care with them, so not to damage them. But with the rag, you don't do much damage anyway. So anyway, I'll keep doing this. Haven't got the door skin finished yet, but I'm just going to let it rest for a while. Because finally, after 4 weeks in transit with fast weight couriers, my flares have arrived. They must have taken the scenic route from Brisbane to Melbourne because it's taken exactly 4 weeks from the get here. But finally I've got them, and I'm going to see how they fit so I can cut the guards. I'm just mixing up a bit of epoxy and I'm going to throw it on the doors before I do any more finishing off to them. Cleaned them with Prepsol a couple of times, wiped them down. Now I'll just throw a coat of the epoxy on them, then I can get to work bogging it and doing whatever else I've got to do before we paint them. It's got 2 coats of epoxy primer on it, and this door actually looks pretty good. I only got a little dent, where is it? Somewhere here I've got to fix. Otherwise it's not too bad. But this door, gosh, it's rough as guts. I should have probably got another door skin for this, because this one's been beaten around heaps. But I'm just gonna chuck bog in it and see how it looks. It's too late now to take it off, since it's already just been put on. You can probably see all the ripples in it. It's probably been hit a lot of times. The only good thing about it was it had no rust in it. So a lot of bog for this one, just a little bit for this one. And also I'm just looking at the flares. Just rang the guys from Ripley Glass to get some advice. And I'm gonna have to cut this little section out here, put it up, and then start working my way around to get them to fit. This is where the rotisserie comes in handy. I'm going to weld this section here. I'm just going to fill that with weld. And then the rest of this, I'm just using the chisel like that and felting it with the hammer on the other side. As you can see, it's starting to move over now. And I will have to put a few slits in it with the angle grinder as I go, just to help it fold. And then I'm going to weld this one like that together. And as this folds over, I'll weld it along that line like that. I've been hitting it a little bit, and now you can see it's coming over pretty good, but I've got to bring it right down till it meets this line. And I think it's starting to build up a bit of stress inside by being stretched like this, so I'm going to make probably 3 or 4 cuts now, just to relieve the pressure on it, and then hopefully it'll start bending down a bit easier. It's starting to get some shape now. It's nearly there. It's got to play for it a little bit more. And I started bending it from here to give it a bit of a curve, and now I'm just sticking the chisel in to about there to give it another bend and start bringing it around. I've stitched this bit up, and now I'm going to flip the car over and get to work on this area. Well, that's the cuts for the flares finished. It's welded all the way from the bottom all the way around and down to there. I just put a little bit of bog in it to fill it up, but the flares are going to cover it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I just did it anyway. It's not a Torana, but my mate just rebuilt the 5 litre for us in the VN and made a whole new exhaust for it, which I'll show you if I can get some pictures of it. Actually, I'll start it up first. Turn the car off so you can hear me better. I'll put some details up for Scott if anybody wants their 5 litre tuned or LS engine tuned. He does that, or makes an exhaust for him. So he's done the exhaust on my Ute, on our Calais, on nearly every car we've had. I've had it tuned by Scott or had the exhaust made by him, and then soon he'll be making one for that if it ever gets on the road.